Hi there, I'm Fred Grooms. Thanks for checking out my blog today. Wouldn't it be awesome if we were to figure out how to find out more about who people are rather than what they do? Why must we always start with what do you do rather than who you are? Because we really are more interested, I hope, in who people are rather than what they do. But this is the way it typically works, right? We meet somebody new, we stick our hands out and we say, hi, my name is... I'm Fred and you're Bob. Nice to meet you, Bob. Then there's that awkward silence. We know somebody's going to ask the question, right? We know what the question is. So what do you do, Bob? We ask the question because we're afraid of that awkward silence of what do we talk about? So we immediately ask people what they do and you get a response that's amazingly awesome, right? No, you don't. You usually get a job title. Hi, I'm Bob and I work for the state. I'm already bored. Then I have to ask more questions. Well, what do you do for the state? How long have you been with the state? Bob's bored and I'm bored. And then Bob responds in kind and he says, so what do you do? And I bore Bob. Wouldn't it be just amazing if we were able to turn that around and ask people more about who they are? You know, this all comes up because I belong to a speaker group and we were talking about the effectiveness of the elevator speech. And I was really like, why do we have to have an elevator speech? Now, an elevator speech, I think most of you know what that is it's being able to tell somebody what you do and the time it takes to get in the elevators, the doors to close, and go up 2 floors. 20 to 30 seconds. Well, people spend a lifetime crafting an amazing elevator speech. We don't really care when you get right down to it. I got a buddy of mine, his name is David. He works for one of the largest IT companies in the world. And you know what? We've been friends for 30 years. And I really don't have any idea what he does. I don't have a clue when you get right down to it, other than he works in information technology, has a great big team, and he's very successful at it. What I do know about him is that we love to go backpacking and hiking and fishing together. We've been all over this fabulous United States doing that over the last 25 years. We've had amazing adventures together. He cares about me and my family, and I care about him and his family. We've laughed together, we've cried together. We've just had an amazing opportunity, and I really don't know what he does, nor do I care. That's the amazing thing when you begin to ask people about who they are rather than what they do. Let's just say somebody were to say, so Bob, what do you do? And Bob says, I teach people to understand how the past affects the future. That's awesome. How do you do that, Bob? And Bob says, I'm a history teacher. You're a history teacher? All of a sudden, history teaching sounds interesting. Or when you say, so what do you do, Bob? And Bob could say, I'm an EMT. And you're like, okay, so... I mean, is it fun to flip the siren on? I mean, what do you ask next? Or you could say, so Bob, what do you do? And Bob goes, I save lives. You save lives? How do you do that? Well, I'm an EMT. Well, tell me about saving lives. That's amazing. Or you say, you know, Susie, what do you do? And Susie goes, I tempt people every day. You tempt people every day, Susie? How are you tempting people, Susie? And Susie says, I own a cupcake store. Of course she tempts people every day. She owns a cupcake store. How sweet is that? I mean, it's amazing what we could do if we just put a little twist on it, on what we do and how we answer the question of, what do you do? And we tell people a little bit about who we are. Isn't that amazing? Or maybe or just imagine the possibilities if we all started doing this. How much more we would find out about people. How much more our conversations would be engaged. How much more alive would they feel, would we feel, if we're able to talk about who we are rather than what we do. I was at the University of North Carolina and I was standing around waiting to speak and I was being introduced to all these people, and I met a guy and he was a professor. Of course he was a professor. That's what he's there for. He teaches. And I made the mistake of saying, so what do you teach? And he went, statistics. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, I hate statistics. I don't want to talk about statistics. There's this awkward silence. So all of a sudden it just shot out of my mouth. I said, so what do you love to do in your spare time? And he says, I love to fly fish. I said, me too. We had a 30-minute conversations about where we'd fly fish, and we'd fly fish to all these same places together. We had an amazing conversation. You would have thought I would have learned something from it. No, I asked the next guy I met, so what do you do? And he goes, oh, well, I'm in admissions. It wasn't until later that I found out that what he really loves to do is he's an avid advocate for taking the classroom out of the classroom and do experiential learning. I missed a great opportunity to talk with somebody who's passionate about some of the things I'm passionate about again, because I only asked him, what does he do? And that's the answer I got. Wouldn't it be great if somebody says to you, and what do you do? And your answer, instead of saying I'm a tax accountant, you said I'm an eco racer. Awesome. What is eco racing? Do you get paid to do that? No, I don't get paid to do that. I'm a tax accountant. I love what I do, and it's awesome to love what you do. I'm an advocate of loving what you do. But you don't have to just, a conversation about tax accounting isn't going to be that thrilling. Or let's say, you're a stamp collector. Nobody cares about a stamp collector, but somebody were to say, so what do you do? And you go, I'm a hoarder. You're a hoarder? What do you hoard? It's a little creepy. I hoard stamps and coins. You do? That sounds more interesting. Or people ask me, what do you do? And my response lately has been, I teach young people to change the world. You do? How do you do that? They ask me more, I tell them more. It's just the way it is. It's much more interesting to be involved in what people really love and who they really are, rather than just what they do. So my challenge to you is, when people say, what do? You come up with a fabulous new elevator speech that's not about what you do, but about what you love and who you are. I hope you found this helpful. If you haven't, you want to know more about me, that's awesome. Go to my website. It's right here, fredgrooms.com, or you can look up strengthsdevelopment.com. I would love to tell you more about what I am passionate about. If you're interested, give me a shout. Thanks for checking in. Take an opportunity to share this post, to click like. It's wonderful if you do so. I love the comments. You guys have a great day.